Hello and good afternoon to everyone who's listening. My name is Hassan Habib, and I am your host for the podcast channel HassanSpeaks. This is our very first episode and the start of a new journey of podcasting, and hopefully many more to come. Today, I introduce you a guest I've been inspired from, and I look forward to further inspiration from him as the life goes on. And he is the host of a YouTube channel called Ehsan, and it is dedicated to STEM education. It is remarkable, the reason being, he's just coming into the world of knowing, and you will see that in a moment. I will let him introduce himself. Ehsan, good afternoon to you.
Hello, Mr. Hassan. I'm really grateful and thankful and really honored to be here today with you
Pleasure
in
is mine.
Dubai, which is not just some other country, but really the vibe, You just feel it. And of course, my dad speaks very highly of you. So I'm really excited to be here today.
Your dad himself is a very remarkable person and very much evident also in your personality. You've taken a lot from him as well. Now, Ehsan, I understand you're 11 years old. Am I correct?
Right?
Yeah. And you're an aspiring tech entrepreneur. And you already have your YouTube channel called Eat and Ehsan. So what is going on here? Just if you could run us through, who is Ehsan and why is he doing what he's doing?
Well, when I was younger, 'cause I'm already very young, um, I didn't really know what to do. I didn't have any passion, and gaming really wasn't my thing. My friends, of course, they knew a lot about it, but I didn't really know what to do. So then, of course, I started to see on television, well, maybe kids not having enough food to live from, or not enough knowledge to exceed, and they couldn't really unleash and open themselves to unleash their full potential around the world. So that's why I started this YouTube channel to be able to help people around the world learn easily and really freely and unleash their full potential around the world.
It's fantastic. I know your aspirations in terms of, we've had this discussion. You've always wanted to inspire the youth. You've always wanted to help make world a better place. And these are some grand thoughts. And I'm really taken aback by, in the phase of life that you are thinking at those levels. Now, what I'm interested in as well is your YouTube channel currently. Do you have a certain focus through that channel? Are you looking to, I know what your goals are from it. What topic are you covering in that? Because today I know what we are here to cover, and we'll get to that really soon. And that's perhaps part of your aspirations as well, not the entire of it. But what are you trying to get out of your YouTube channel? What are you trying to get out of the youth of today?
Well, before I really wanted to be able to do something like I told you, and sometimes I had things that I really wanted to learn about at school or things like that. But the thing is, at school, like maybe I want to learn physics. But physics, that was in college, you know what I mean? Not in college, high school.
High school, absolutely.
And I was too young, like I couldn't wait for that. I just had that passion burning in me. So then that's why I just was like, what if I could make a YouTube channel to help people just like me learn easily, like easier? Because I'm gonna be explaining to you later, what are the pros and cons of my YouTube channel compared to like a school, because as you know, schools they're very like, how to say, they're not up to date, if you know what I mean. So like cars have changed a lot since the past years. Before they used to be caravans, now they're literally cars which use electricity or even sometimes
Correct.
fuel.
Mhm.
The iPhone changed a lot, as you know. Before we had the BlackBerry, now we have an iPhone. And yes, a lot of things changed, but the school didn't really change the way that we learn these days. So that's why I started this YouTube channel, because as you know, school then there's a lot of pros of cons, because first, school is expensive, as you know. It's not cheap.
Absolutely. Education is
Right, you
costs,
can't get it. You can't just pay it with like $1,000 like that. You need actually some money, and it's really expensive. And then sometimes even by paying that money, maybe that school won't have exactly what you want to learn. They don't. Maybe they can't offer that because teachers, you can find them everywhere, right? And schools like this school, maybe it's a bad school, but there's a good teacher. There's one super good teacher, which is better than the other school, which is super good and super well known, but that has really an average like
So you're more focused on the methodology of delivery of the
right. So I'm
content.
trying to
Yeah.
really make specifically what people want to learn. So like if someone wants to learn how to become an astronaut, I can teach that. If someone wants to learn the basics of physics, I can teach that. I'm really just trying to even out everything, and I'm trying to make a new era of education and knowledge.
That's really interesting. And I know you have gotten a lot of traction on your channel as well. Now, what I am interested also in is to understand what got you to there. How was your personal journey? If you may describe it in, let's say, in the next 1 to 2 minutes, your personal journey up until this moment, how would you classify it, and what's the story? How would you read that?
Sorry, I didn't hear very well.
Now, how would you classify your personal journey
Oh, right.
reaching up to this point? And then we'll talk about your aspirations from this point onwards. But if there are certain experiences that you'd like to share, or certain interests and hobbies that catered to your journey as well, how would you put it as a story to your
Well,
viewers?
Well, I didn't, like I told you, I didn't really know what to do. But then I had this idea of making a YouTube channel to be able to make everyone around the world be able to access.
Have the accessibility to
Yeah,
education. I know you're interested in in getting education to the underprivileged, even those who perhaps don't have access to education in other parts of the world. You're not too focused only on one geographical location. You're open to more. I think you think at a global level, because we've had that conversation as well, and I understand that you're looking at how to provide educational material to the people also who may not have access to education through technology, because technology is I believe is your forte. It's
but
what you're trying to leverage on.
because nowadays technology is the only thing that separates you from, like I said this in my Apple speech. Technology is it's the only thing that separates something made and something newly invented. Because it's like if I were to make nowadays, we already almost discovered everything that we can make without technology. You know what I mean? We made the phone. I mean, of course, that needed technology, but if you know what I mean, we needed to use hammers and sticks and all of that. So we didn't really use any like technology or coding for that. So nowadays, it's like it's either you're using technology to create something new, or either you're not creating anything.
So we've touched base upon what you're trying to achieve over here in terms of from your YouTube channel, you as a person. How would you describe, let's say, what are some of the biggest challenges that you've identified in delivering education through technology, and the opportunities for those in need?
Well, I haven't really had any challenges in this journey, but a challenge that is always active and which is always a challenge that I'm having is recognition, visibility. Because it's like if I were to like sell the best book in the town, right? Or in the country.
Hmm.
But then maybe the other people around the world they won't know about this book. You know what I mean? So what's the point of making the best thing that there is if nobody knows about it? It's like if I were to make the telephone.
Hmm.
What if nobody knew about it? How could they use it? So that's always been a challenge to me. So this is why I'm always trying to make people help me in this journey. And for you guys who are watching, can you please subscribe to my YouTube channel? It is right over here, the name, Ehsan. Just put that on YouTube and please subscribe and share it to your friends, because hopefully at the end we'll be able to help everyone and unleash their full potential around the world.
That's a wonderful thought and very noble, I must say. Run me through how you identified that. For a lot of people, perhaps technology won't be the first thing to go to when it comes to perhaps fulfilling this particular gap, right? Or delivering education. A lot of people would perhaps go on the ground over there, wherever this is required, and would be hands-on with something like that. Now, what you aspire to do and understand is to use the technology and then reach to the people through that, right? Now, how do you think technology can most effectively be used to overcome these challenges? Why the choice of technology over here? And how do you perhaps plan to implement in order to achieve your goal?
Well, nowadays we have internet, and before we didn't. Before we had to go to a bookstore, we had to get a book, we had to buy a book, and then we had to bring it home. And of course, I don't know. I'm too young to know about what happened, but from what I know and from what I understand, because of course I've heard of many stories, especially from my dad. But before you used to be like needing to take the book home, and then you have to maybe give it in like 1 or 2 days, 5 days, and sometimes you want to look for a book, but that book's already taken, and you might not even know that it exists because it's never here because everyone's already gonna snatch it because it's really like a book in priority. Or maybe it's just that there's such a good book that is exactly what you want and that not a lot of people actually take or are interested in, but you just don't know about that book. So another good thing about the internet is that now we have an infinitely big library. We have a bunch of books.
That's a great way to put it.
Right, and one of those categories of in the bookstore, in the bookshop, there's YouTube, let's say. And there are millions and billions of books in YouTube. Billions, I'm not sure, but millions, I'm sure. And there are many books there. And imagine that's one video. And then there's like sections in that which are channels. And then nowadays it's like a book that when you take the book, there's a new book that auto-generates. So it's basically an infinite book thing. So it's like you just need to Google something, right? Just Google on YouTube, just put in like how to code for beginners in C++ or something like that.
And now you have generative AI also.
Right, you also have that, so that's going to help you a lot. And that now it's like if you find a video, you find your thing, and then you just click it. Like if you were in school, you just have one lesson, and it's not even a book anymore. It's just some lesson in a book. Like I'm sure you've seen some sci-fi movies where like the images are animated, like maybe so the creator. But yeah, so it's like that now. You just have this huge library, and in one section it's YouTube, and then in there you just have infinitely generating books, and each time when you take one book, you have a video. And I think that's really fascinating because it's like if you were in school, but you can choose whatever you want.
I'm really enjoying this conversation, seeing that it's coming first of all from you, and at such a young age, you're able to think at a level that perhaps is even beyond many, perhaps from an adulthood perspective as well. But I admire that. I am taken by your views and vision, the way you are visualizing in terms of where you want to get to. And how would you like to spread the knowledge to the world as well? I'm compelled to ask you this question because I'm curious myself, right? I understand the story that you mentioned in terms of, you were looking at to do something, but there must be an inspirational element that triggered this thought that, okay, this is what I'm made for, this is what I want to do. It could be a period of perhaps silence from a career perspective. I mean, in your age, it's not career, but the eagerness to do something for the benefit of the society.
So, like, you're asking me, how did I get to this point?
Yeah, what's your inspiration?
Right. So, like I told you, my inspiration, but the way that I actually got here is that, well, I started like 2 years ago, or maybe 2.5 years ago, and now this YouTube channel is about 2.5 years old. And in that time now, I've already been on the Apple Store. Like you said, a presentation in the Apple Store.
Absolutely, I watched that video of yours. Pretty exciting. Pretty
like
exciting, yeah.
Congratulations
on that.
Thank you. In Dubai Mall, yeah. I also had an article on one of the biggest ones in the Middle East. It's called the Gulf News. You know that one, right?
Yeah.
The Gulf News, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Um, and now I have my third biggest hit, your podcast. And
I'm
with
honored.
that now, and also with your guys' help, I'm now here with over 5,000 subscribers, and hopefully we can continue on to unleash the full potential around the world.
What's your measure of success for this?
Mm?
How you measure your success? So let's say, when would be the time you say, yeah, I've achieved this checkbox?
Well, I will never be able to achieve something fully because, learning never stops, it's infinite. The curiosity of people and us, our human brain, just is infinite. We never stop learning, and we'll never stop having curiosity to learn beyond. Here we just discovered space a few years ago. And here now we just discovered the whole solar system. And we discovered about, like, I think it was 39 light years away. Imagine how much more space there is. Imagine how many more multiverses or universes or galaxies there are to discover. So I think that's really fascinating because we will never stop learning because the space is infinitely big and it's always trying to become bigger and bigger and bigger. And of course, this is only our universe, our universe. And of course, we don't know if there are more, like we say, there's a theory of the multiverse, and we don't even know if that exists or not. So there's a lot to learn, and there is infinitely things to learn. So I think that's really interesting. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that I'm never going to be able to actually check a checkbox, but each time, of course, I'm going to be able to help people in need.
That is
Because,
fantastic. I mean, your analogy of space with knowledge, I mean, it's continuously expanding, so you're never done
right,
with it.
because even if I just help with one life, that's that's worth a lot. Because my life, me, I just have one life and one soul. I'm just one person, right? If I'm able to at least change one person's life, that would be amazing.
That's
And I
fantastic.
already have. So I'd like to continue until beyond and beyond for generations to come. Even when I might be dead, then it will pass down throughout my family, and I'd really be happy.
And may God prolong your life and your parents as well. Certainly, there's a lot of deep thoughts over here. At the age of 11, I believe this is impressive in
10.
terms of. You're 10.
Yes, 10.
Wow, I was in depression at 11. When were you born?
2013, 10th of June.
Okay, so you're still fantastic. So you're
Yes.
until June, you're still 10. That isn't
Yes,
exciting.
until this June, I'm going to be still 10. Until this June, I'm going to be 11.
That's
So,
pretty exciting.
right.
And in 10 years of age, so you started your journey at what?
At like, let me guess. So, it started. Yeah, so I started like when I was 8, 7. Because at that time, like, I was just living the life, you know what I mean? I was just trying to live the life, like, explore, try new things out. Because this is like really the first like few years, like 6 or 7 years. That's really the years where you're here trying to learn, explore the world as much as you can. So I was trying to just explore it, and then at one point I was like, I want to make something big, like Elon Musk or someone. And then I just found out this extraordinary idea. I'm really happy to be able to give this to for generations to come, and who knows, maybe one day, if we know more about space and all about our universe and multiverse, maybe I'll be able to help other people around the space, around space. Who knows?
I'm intrigued about in terms of in the past 2 to 3 years, you've been through a lot, you've achieved a lot, and you have accomplished a lot in the process. So if I were to ask you, in terms of your top three achievements, and since your journey started, what would you classify as achievements?
Well, I my biggest achievements in terms of like what I've been accomplishing to be able to teach people or to be able to be recognized better.
Great. And do you feel that there have been instances where you have done that?
I'm just wondering, like, which one, recognition or be able to help people learn better.
Let's start with the helping part.
Okay,
So
okay.
your reachability to people, because that's been your goal, and then we'll get to the recognition part as well.
Okay.
But let's say from a reachability perspective, do you think what are some of the achievements that you have achieved so far in the past 3 years?
I've been working on something for you guys to be able to teach and spread the knowledge even more. I've been working on something which I can't really talk much about, because I'm still working on it, and I'm coding it by myself, and hopefully this year, 2024, I'm going to be able to share it with you guys to be able to teach you even better, and hopefully help our journey to be able to unleash the full potential around the world. I know I'm repeating this a lot, but it's just that's my whole purpose in life. I want to be able to do this.
Fantastic. And so this will be one of your milestones of 2024 in terms of getting closer to your goal. Now, you spoke about recognition as well just recently. And what do you classify as recognition? What is recognition to you? As you as a person, or do you mean recognition of your work?
Well, me as a person isn't really a thing because I'm not working for myself. I'm not just here trying to just get the money and then job done. I'm trying to actually help people. It's like maybe there are doctors who come here for the paycheck, you know what I mean? There are many doctors like that. But then there are also doctors who come here to actually help people, to help the people in need. And that's what I'm trying to do. Even if I'm happy if I get paid. I mean, I'm happy, you know. They will of course help us a lot in the journey, but really the thing that
But
really
that's
makes
not
me
your
happy.
primary goal.
That's not my primary goal. Money won't make me happy. The thing that'll make me happy is to be able to change the life of someone else just like me. Because you need to put this in perspective. You might in your life. I'm sure that you were very happy, right? Imagine this, but you can put it on the scale of billions in just one small program. Imagine that. So you're one person, and you can now, with the internet and YouTube, be able to broadcast this all the way to all of the 8 billion people on the earth. Just this power of thinking it. Imagine the potential. Some people might just use it on YouTube to make some pranks or something, but they just don't get the power of this tool. The tool has much more potential. You can literally give anything that you want to say to the whole world in just one free and simple software that you can use.
That's a fascinating thought. I mean, you have really gone beyond and thought about in terms of, and if you're thinking at that scale at this point of time, at this phase of life, I mean, I can only, forecast or predict or anticipate what the future holds for you. Have you thought about? So I know you're working on a project, and I would like to say there's a saying: success lies in the shadows, and you're currently keeping that project in the shadows before you launch it and introduce it to the public. And I wish you all the best for it, and I'm sure it will be successful. But how are you trying to now reach perhaps beyond to communities in other parts of the world who may need this contact or who are interested in this kind of contact to benefit out of it? So what is this particular project, let's say, you don't have to go into the details or it's don't have to give out a lot, but what are you trying to achieve with that in terms of in terms of reachability to the people?
So you're asking me like how would I be able to reach up to everyone like that?
Absolutely, yeah. Because you spoke about, for example, reaching to 8 billion people around the world, right?
Right. Well,
So are you trying to develop something that would enable something like that, or?
well, we already have this power. Like I told you, we have the whole internet, the whole world in a grasp of a hand. I mean, literally, using your hands to actually make it. And the way that I'm actually planning to be able to broadcast this and forecast it all around all around the world is that, as we know, we have huge celebrities around the world. Maybe one is doing gaming, like I don't know much about gaming, but maybe some famous YouTuber who does gaming, or maybe some famous celebrity who does tech, like maybe Peter Thiel, or maybe Steve Jobs, maybe Elon Musk. And of course, there are celebrities of every single type, maybe fashion like that. And for those people who do something else, like maybe, like I was saying, gaming or fashion, all of that, and even if they're not doing tech, which I'm really very concentrated on and very focused on, just imagine it. like if there are millions of people who know this person here, and if you're just able to find and get the chance to take this person, not take him, but get his like his audience, your attention, and if you can actually try to make like a collaboration, or if you're like trying to, and if you're able to actually get the attention of their audience, imagine the power of that. There are like 321 million people who know Taylor Swift and who love her, and those are all maybe fans of her music. But imagine, out of those people, how many people you think would be interested in what I'm doing? Well, maybe not a lot, but still, it's a lot of people, because it might be like 50 million or something like that.
There's a lot of cross
Right.
segmentation
And
here.
even if there are a lot of people who like what I'm doing, this is what you call status. Like if someone who sees, oh, he's wearing these clothes, or he's wearing this watch, like in commercial that you can see, right? In Dubai, I saw a commercial with like the guy who, the marathon, he was wearing like a watch, Huawei, I think. And then that watch here, I mean, it was just a basic watch, right? And this just shows that if the guy that you love is wearing something that you might not like or you might love, then that just proves your point of, oh my God, I want to wear that. He wear that. He bought that. He's literally wearing it. So why should I not?
So you're looking at people following the steps also.
Right. So that's really something that could help me in this journey. And even if the people might not like it, and they might subscribe, this is really a plus, because then people around the world, it's like when you watch a video, right? If it has only 2 million or 3 million views, like, okay, wow, like, I'm kind of impressed, I want to watch it. But if it has only 100 or 1,000 views, like, do you really want to see it? You don't really. But who knows? Maybe it can be someone who's maybe the next Elon Musk, and you just don't know it. Because, like, Elon Musk didn't just wake up. He wasn't just like born and woke up and he was like, yay, I'm a billionaire here. He actually had to go through the journey of where he was maybe getting thousands of people knowing him, and then maybe hundreds at the beginning. And he didn't just come like some lucky celebrities, like the one who made the meme, like the thing here. He just got 1 million subscribers in 1 year, but I'm saying, like, you just don't get it when you wake up.
So I understand. Do you have role models that you're currently
My
aspiring
top three. Elon Musk, because of course he started when he was small. He had nothing, right? Mike Tyson, for the determination.
Interesting.
And I know he might be a boxer, but don't let things fool you. Don't let whatever people do fool you, because
that skill can be applied in
right,
many
that
other
skill.
ways. Yeah.
It's like I was interviewing someone and he was like a gamer, and he thinks that gaming is just like, it's part of life. I mean, of course, I don't believe in that. Maybe some people would. So like things can just apply. Whatever you're doing, like maybe gaming, that can apply to strategy and thinking. If you're in the Air Force and that's really good, because then you can become an astronaut, because then you can think ahead of time in the future. And you can also use that for other things, like maybe your professional driver.
So you have Elon Musk from an entrepreneurship perspective. You have Mike
Because
Tyson.
he just started with nothing. Mike Tyson. And my third one, I'd say, it's hard. I'd say Steve Jobs. That was the one who made Apple, right?
Yes. Founder of yes.
Because, well, he just tried something, you know what I mean? He just like woke up and it was like, why don't I just do this? The iPhone. Why don't I just try? Because most of the people don't stop doing something because they think they can't. I mean, sorry, it's actually the opposite. People usually, they don't do things because they just don't believe in themselves, and because not a lot of people actually care about what they're doing. Like, oh no, that's never gonna work. But the people who actually invent new things, like Steve Jobs, of course he heard people saying, "Oh, that's lame. Oh, that's I won't."
It's not gonna work.
Right, so it's not gonna work.
But he persevered.
Yeah, he continued. So those are my top three: Mike Tyson, Elon Musk, and Steve Jobs.
Fantastic. And they're
And of course, I didn't stop because, of course, I was hearing a lot of haters. But did I stop? No. And I mean, it did help me a lot because now I'm in your podcast, and wow.
I also know that your hobbies are programming. You do some karate as well. Now,
That's more of like a hobby slash skill, because well,
because you do skiing and you do horse riding and all sorts of
I
that
mean,
stuff.
then like I was saying, skills apply. Like whatever you do in life, that applies to whatever you
So
want
what
to
are
do.
you learning from these hobbies that you're applying at your work?
Karate,
Because this gives us the importance of having the right hobbies, right?
but
So how does this help you?
karate helps me strategize and improvise better. Because when you're in a fight, it's not like if you were here, Doctor Strange, you already gave the billions of possibilities. In karate or in any martial art, I specifically chose karate because it's really a sport of where you give the least amount of hits, blows, and the most powerful ones. Taekwondo is actually the opposite. You want to make your kick super fast, but not really strong. Strong,
Okay.
but super fast.
So speed versus
Right. So the reason why I did karate is because, well, when you're fighting against sparring against a guy, you're not like you didn't really plan it. You're planning. You're observing. You're learning about your enemy in the moment. So it's like the person that I interviewed yesterday, an astronaut. He became well he was in the U.S. Air Force because he wanted to be like he wanted to see into the future, and he really inspired me because he made me actually think about that, how skills can apply, and he really just hammered in that idea in my head. And then, well, like I said, karate just makes you think in the moment and makes you be able to give the most powerful words in the least amount of words. So it's like if I were to tell you, can we go eat, right? But it was like,
it's about utilizing the resources
right,
you have at hand
utilizing
in the most optimal way.
yeah. So it's like, imagine you only have like 50 words in the whole day. You have to find a way to be able to use those words in the most efficient way, and the most punchy and powerful words.
This guy talks on a different level.
And I do tennis. You might know tennis. That I don't really do it to learn skill. It's really just a hobby because I really like it. I mean, yes, it is actually a skill that you can apply, because when you're actually trying to hit the ball, you need to track it. You need to foresee it. Karate and tennis, I feel like, is really a good mixture. It gives you the whole
So did you
experience.
deliberately choose this as your hobbies, or
Actually,
you just developed an interest into them?
I just got lucky. I just one day was like, yeah, what about some karate fighting? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I was just wondering, oh, tennis seems cool. You hit a ball and you run. Seems cool. So then, yeah, I just started like that. And now I'm just really thinking about how can it help me and should I continue? Because football, it's useful. I mean, you can use it, but I don't really do it, football. But now that I'm thinking of what football can help you with, it can, of course, help you with teamwork. But I don't think it helps you as much as in basketball, if you know what I mean, right? In basketball, you have to actually think about, like, this guy might be jumping here, this guy might come out of nowhere, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
I think each sport has something to teach us, and they complement each other.
I mean, video games they're really useful too.
Yeah.
But the thing that you always have to be looking for is what can help you foresee the future. And I think that the best two, not the best two, it depends about people, of course.
I'm getting a pattern that you prioritize mindful development
Right.
and physical in balance, but you're even very much focused on how your mind develops through these hobbies, and how you can then apply to what your longer term aspirations are.
Right, and
So, yeah, go ahead.
like I was saying, so tennis and karate, I think it's really a good mixture because you can foresee the future in tennis, and in karate you can strategize while you're foreseeing it. So it's basically a whole game plan that you're improvising. And the third thing that I do is, well, like I told you, coding. Because of course it's my passion, and I just like it because it's like you're talking to a new language in a whole new dimension. It's like if I were to tell you hello in Spanish or hello in French or hello in English, like bonjour, hello.
It's an exciting way to put
hola.
it.
Yeah, like that. I'm just talking like that. But when you're doing coding, you're talking in a different language for sure,
Right.
but it's just going a whole new dimension. Because here we're talking in front of us, we're actually communicating. But here you're communicating with nothing, with technology, with something, It's not really living, So it's just really interesting because it's basically talking to someone and you can make him do whatever you want, So there's really no limit
And you're
to coding.
actively actually doing coding at this?
Yes, I've tried to do every day some coding, but then of course I take a few breaks because sometimes I have other things to do.
So what are some of the products of your coding that have come out? What have you done so far with coding? Have you developed something? Have you tested something?
Well, now even before I started the YouTube channel, I was doing a lot of coding,
Okay.
and
So that's even how
Yeah.
old were you? 6, 7 years old?
I can't remember. I think I was like 5, 6.
Wow, you started coding at the age of 5.
Yeah, 5 or 6, 6 I think.
Fantastic.
And right now I'm 10. So 4 years of experience, and somewhere there. And I've been, of course, hopping and jumping away from all of the languages and a bunch of themes. Because first I started with Python, one of the easiest. Then I went with HTML, making sites, etc., etc. And now I found my fit, C++, because it's a code language.
You are studying Python and C++
I used
at
to.
at this age and even younger. Sorry, you started when you were 6.
Yes, the age I started C++, I believe was last year or before last year, I forgot. Because C++ isn't really a thing that's like, it isn't as basic because, I think it was definitely last year, yeah. Because imagine, Python, it seems easy, like print, like that. But just to write one simple hello world program, in C++ you have to do 1, 2, depends. The second line is optional, but if you want to really make it the best, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 lines, and the fifth line is long enough. So yeah, it's but it's really good because it's like in Arabic, like things you might think that it's complicated, but then like they apply very easily. Because in some languages like English, people might argue it's not the hardest language, but I'm saying it's actually one of the hardest languages to
What
learn.
took you to that road of coding at the age of 6? How did you end up being there or
Well-
starting it? This is
it's-
pretty exciting. This
Well,
is
I'm just that lucky. So my dad was just asking me like, why don't you try coding? It seems interesting because of course he had
so
experience.
not only that you began at a very early stage of life, but you're now using those skills in order to benefit further your audiences as well.
Right, because imagine like I had to go, of course, back and forth trying to find my fit. But imagine and that took me like 4 years. Imagine if I'm able to do the same thing, but in 1 year. That would make a big difference, right? And imagine me learning coding, and then when I'm at my peak, it took me maybe like, I don't know. There's no peak to coding. Like, there's always more to learn.
It's a continuous, it's an
Right.
evolution. You
It's
continue to
infinite,
evolve.
because
Yeah.
you're talking. Like, talking can go infinitely. Maybe you make like a whole
Theoretically,
new
yeah,
language.
absolutely, yeah.
And it can really go completely creative. And it's really like I just had to take a lot of time to be able to find the language first, and now imagine I already have a lot of things I'd like to learn with doing C++, because it's like I told you, it's a language that can do everything pretty much, and it's a language that can also, which it's good at everything, and it has a very good thing, especially if you want to become an engineer working with microchips, which has always been my dream. And there's something that you call a Raspberry Pi. It's not a pie. It's a Raspberry Pi. It's like a small microchip.
Oh, so it's
And-
not a dessert.
No, it's not a dessert.
If
It's not a
someone like me would jump in on a cafe.
Be careful. Be careful. I don't think it's digestible metal and gold. Okay.
Okay,
But,
what does this Raspberry Pi do?
It's basically a mini computer.
Okay.
So yeah, you can use it to do whatever you want. So actually, it's really interesting because you can code it to control a computer, to make it as a computer, or to control something physically. So it's basically you can make sites with it,
Okay.
because it's like if you were to, you can make servers if you want. It's like a mini computer / server thing. It's like if you had like a small supercomputer, you know.
And have you worked using it or?
No, not yet. Next year, I'm hoping that I'm able to start using it. But yes, I'm really trying to stay consistent and right. And of course, one of my biggest dreams that I've wanted to always be doing is becoming an inventor. Of course, I want to help everyone around the world unleash their full potential. But one of my biggest personal goals is becoming an inventor. I already have a bunch of ideas. There's just a few steps. There's only one step in each of my ideas to actually be able to go through that and be able to actually make it happen. Because I've been going all around the world. Like I remember to Iceland, I was really fascinated of the idea of that you can make carbon and mix it with water and put it into basalt and then keep it stored forever. And I really found it was
You make
amazing.
me speechless. I'm fascinated. Even just listening to you, it takes me into deeper thoughts as well in terms of the science of things. So now you're talking about starting coding at the age of 6, having experience of C++, Python, the Raspberry Pi. This is somewhat one thing I
Raspberry
want.
Pi actually, it's not a language. It's more of like it's like a computer,
It's like a hardware.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's something that you can code,
So it has the okay.
and you can use C++ for that, of course. And C++
Interesting.
is really good because it can run fast, super fast. It can make things go super fast. And so if I wanted to make a program like C++, its biggest use is especially for like huge equations. You might use for physics or for some like physics engine or something or video games. And it's really good for that. And not only that, but also things maybe that you want to code outside in the world, like self-driving cars, because you need to really make the calculation super fast. Because like imagine if there's someone in front of you and the car is self-driving. What happens? What is it going to do? Continue driving and it's going to run over the person? Well, no. So you need it to go super fast, and you can use C++ for that. But of
Processing
course,
power,
in the
yeah.
case of Tesla, they use their own computer and their
Absolutely.
own language. But
So, what are your thoughts on let's say you're a tech whiz and you clearly know a lot about technology and what are your thoughts on artificial intelligence and how it's expected to impact the world of inventions? Let's say.
um, first time I've been asked this question, but honestly, I think that I don't know much about AI because I don't really see the potential and what people mean about it. But of course, like you were saying, AI now helps us learn easily, and I think that it can be super useful, especially in the domain of teaching. Because imagine I'm a human, right? You can't make a clone of me. I mean, of course, maybe one day we'll be able to find that a way to do that. I'm sure we've already done found a way, but you can't just clone me like that and then you make copies of me. But a computer code, um, AI, of course, you can clone that. Robots, you can clone it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So imagine if you had the AI, which would be your teacher, and you can just clone billions and billions of AIs. And imagine if every single AI is for one person, then learning can be even easier and even more private and specific. Because in American schools, unlike French schools, um, you can choose your course, like in the university, in college. You can choose what you want to do, what's grade, what's
You select your own subjects.
yeah, subjects, and all of that. But in French school, you don't have any choice. So AI is actually going to be further extending the idea of the Americans.
So it'll personalize education more, so more
Right. So it's
one to
actually
one.
so it's like if you had your own robot when you were small, like AI, not robot, but AI. Maybe that we could transform into like in the creator, like human, or just keep it like a robot, and then it can maybe like give you lessons. You know what I mean? So then you can just choose what you want to do. Because then, of course, maybe you don't want to learn some things. Maybe you just don't want to learn. But for those people, they will just fall away from time. They will be brushed off. Like the Romans. They just got brushed off because they stopped working. So
It's fascinating. You're trying to bring three elements together: the education, technology,
yeah, so it's
and
really your
human
choice. You want to be in the history of the world? You want to stay here? You want to be on it? Or do you want to be pushed away um, and time passes by?
So it's more about then utilizing the tool it exists rather than
Yes, because I think it
well,
really has like a big potential, especially in
absolutely.
personalized learning, and especially in learning like as the teacher. You might have like, then of course we'll go to even more complex things and more advanced things, and we'll learn even not harder, but more into things further away. And then of course then our brains might not be smart enough to be able to actually calculate all of this. Of course, maybe you might get smarter, but you know what I mean? Just from seeing how it is nowadays, it's just going to go downhill, the education books. Now people usually just watch TikToks, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, a lot of people consume knowledge through YouTubes and
They do, a lot
TikToks
of
and
them.
others, right?
But then most of the people that I usually see, they just like, you know what I mean? They just don't care. They just like
Are you
like
expected to launch at some point in your life? I know you're very young at the moment. You have, inshallah, long life ahead of you. Do you have an aspiration to launch an education technology platform going forward? Perhaps
well,
an unconventional way of delivering education, perhaps,
like I'm working on something which will
or
help.
innovative way. Let's say, but
Oh, okay, okay.
an innovative way
Well,
of methodology of
something which will
delivering
really
it.
help a lot. Of course, I don't have any end goals. I constantly have goals, and
So your goal is a moving target all the time.
actually, it's a target I will never be able to hit because, like I told you, if knowledge is infinite, then learning ways are infinite, and new things to learn are infinite. So if learning things is infinite, then subjects are infinite, and that means that be able to actually teach things are infinite. Because imagine if we find a whole new subject which requires us a whole new system of a whole new tool, like geometry. You need to use like those rulers, and you need to use like those, I don't know how to say in English, like those triangular.
Correct. The tools that you use,
Yeah, for
geometrical
geometry.
tools. Yes.
Yeah, you don't just like use a marker, then you draw it.
It's been a
or
while.
something
I've been to a math class, so
right, but you can't just draw it. You know what I mean?
this is fascinating to hear coming from you, a person like you at the phase of life. You're pretty young, already thinking about accomplishing large goals, bigger than life. You spoke about lives you have changed. I would like to understand, or perhaps dwell into one of these, one of the examples of lives perhaps you have changed. If you could just
Right.
enlighten us a little bit, and how did you do it, and what was the impact?
Well, I have a really good friend, and of course he's still in my school, and I still have contact with him. Um, and he used to only be watching TikToks. I won't mention name, but he was only be using. He was only watching TikToks, and he was lost. He just didn't know what to do. You know, he was the newest kid. Last year, I believe. Yeah, last year he was the new kid in the school, and he was really shy, and he was just always scared and shy. And then, of course, he was watching videos. He was talking to me about it because then, of course, I'm very social. I like to make friends who might be scared to actually jump into the new school, new world, new people. And then he was always saying, "Oh, so I'm watching that, I'm watching that." And then I just came, and I happened to have my YouTube channel, and I believe that was in first grade, second grade. That was in fourth grade last year. I'm in fifth grade now, and I told him, "Why don't you watch my YouTube channel? Why don't you just take a look? You might be interested, and can you please subscribe?" And then he was like, "Okay, why not?" Then he came back like he didn't really talk about it next day, but he took him maybe like 1 week or like 5 days, 4 days, 3 days.
Okay.
And then he came back to me, and then he was like, "I'm really interested in what we're doing." And actually, this is a real story. I'm not making anything up. But then he was like, "Wow, I'm really interested in what you're doing. Like, can you tell me more about that?" And then this is really where he got hooked up with coding. And remember last year, it's where he was starting to always every day ask me a question. Like he would be in the canteen or something. He was always asking me, "So what if I did that? Would it change anything? And if I put that in there, would it be able to work? And what if I did that there and this there and did there? And how do I do that? How do I do this? You know?" And then he was like, can you make a video about this? Can you make a video about that?
So you repurposed him in
Right,
a
so I
manner.
just,
So
like,
he went from just
yeah.
entertainment and leisure to actually productivity
Right, and he still
and
watches my
knowledge.
videos.
Okay.
But of course, he's watching other things on the internet to learn coding, which I'm really happy about because I was able to at least spread his wings, and he found now his thing that he's hopefully going to be doing for his whole life. Because I'm just really happy that I'm able to actually change a life in like, so that was like in 2 years, 2 years and a half, 2 years and a quarter, something like that, of my YouTube channel. And at least I was able to help one life. And now, 3 years, and hopefully I can help so many more lives until the end.
Very noble thought. So last few thoughts. 3 words that describe you or the way you would like people to remember you with.
So my 3 words I'd give to anyone around the world to remember me by is opportunity, knowledge, and possibilities. That's what I'd like you guys to remember me of.
Fantastic. These are very deep thoughts. And if you had one message for your viewers who are following you perhaps on YouTube channels or those who are watching you today, what would be the message to them? To, let's say, your viewers who are in your segment, who are following you.
Well, my message is to all of you guys, do whatever you want to do. Maybe you want to do this, maybe you want to do that, maybe you want to become a professional coder, maybe you want to be doing engineering, maybe you want to become an astronaut. Whatever you want to do, just do it. Whatever you want to do, whatever passion you want to accomplish, whatever you want to learn and be able to make as a hobby or even as your whole life, just do it. Because if you're holding yourself up with like, okay, which one gives you most amount of money? Am I a neurosurgeon? Am I a doctor? Am I something more like that who gains a lot of money? Or a famous YouTuber? Well, don't think about that. Think first about what do you want to do, and then always try to be able to take that and transform it into a business. To hopefully, because when you have a business, you're free. It's like if you had a job, but every day was a weekend, because you're not doing it to get paid or you're not doing it for someone, you're doing it for yourself. And that's what I really liked it about, because a lot of people tell me, like my dad, that it was a mistake to actually get a job because you're not free. You're like you're like a shell. You can't open up. So I really think that you should do whatever you want, and then hopefully make it as a business, and then be able to hopefully help people around the world, maybe, or just do whatever you want to do. And as a business, then you don't have to actually work for someone, and then you won't be under control. You'll be free, and just be happy and be free.
That's a very noble and strong message, I'd say. I mean, you've touched base upon startup or entrepreneurship. You've touched base upon technology. You've touched base upon the approach to these two and how, and even a great motivational factor as well here.
And I just wanted to say one last quick thing.
Yeah.
So, for all of you guys who are watching, please help me in this journey to be able to unleash the full potential of everyone around the world by putting this in YouTube, this name here, Ehsan, subscribing to my YouTube channel, going to my site, ehsan.com, going down, scrolling down where it's written newsletter under the subscribe to YouTube channel, or maybe above, I don't remember, I think it's under. Click that and then just put your email in so that you'll be notified with all of my latest videos. And I'll be hopefully able to teach you guys even better about knowledge and be able to help you unleash your full potential, and hopefully also be able to spread the knowledge around the world. Please, guys, help me be able to do this dream to overcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very strong messages coming out of you towards the end of the episode. We reach, unfortunately, to the end of the episode, but I was delighted to have you as a guest today. And I think there's a lot of energy that comes from you, and you're already thinking towards larger than life possibilities. And I can only anticipate how these possibilities will evolve over time.
Right.
Thank you very much, viewers, for connecting with us today and for watching this episode of Hassan Speaks. And I look forward to your comments. Please do like, share, and subscribe below. And please do reach out on my contact information and website below here on the screen. And I look forward to connecting with you really soon again. Ehsan, thank you very much. And it was wonderful to have you on my show today.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Yeah.
Thank you.